strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know that's right. Anyways, how are you doing on this fantastic Friday, July the 15th of 2022? Day 196 of the year and only 169 days to go. How exciting is that stuff? Anyways, I hope everything is fantastic since we last seen each other or heard each other or interacted with each other, however you want to do it. That's what I mean. I hope everything is fantastic and was fantastic and all that kind of fun stuff. Anyway, so we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Radio Big USA, Canada, UK.
So, as you know, it is Freeform Friday, so it is no rhyme or reason or whatever the hell we have going on today. So it'll be a little bit of here, a little bit of there, a little bit of everywhere. So with that being said, well, who knows what to expect. So there you go. So as we are starting off on this lovely, let's go ahead and start talking right away of what was trending yesterday. And some interesting ones we'll pop up and talk about. So yesterday, hashtag Twitter down was trending on Thursday morning after the platform was hit by a worldwide outage. So exactly where were you hashtagging Twitter down? Because if it was down, how are you hashtagging to be on Twitter that it was down? I mean, that's just something I was thinking about because I don't know. So what else? Hashtag The Open landed on Twitter's top 10 trends on Thursday as the final major of the 2022 golf season continues at St. Andrews in Scotland. The Lord of the Rings was trending yesterday after a new teaser trailer of The Rings of Power dropped. We'll talk a little bit about that if you care to know about that at some point. France celebrated Bastille Day on Thursday, so the celebration in the honor of the beginning of the French Revolution back in 1789. And of course, the Biggie Iggy yesterday, the one that was making the sequences of events and going all over the place. Well, some Twitter users celebrated National Nude Day yesterday. I guess use your imagination to figure out how, just in case if you are sitting there and wondering, going, well, what do you mean? How did they celebrate? Well, use your fantasy mind over there, my friends, in that particular regards. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit more here for a moment before I get into the mess that I'm going to get into. If you want to interact with the show, it's a pretty simple process. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. That will get everything moving. That's the messaging system, the video system, the audio system in regards to getting into this thing. I will try to simplify this as much as possible. You do the messages in regards of the text message. It's a lot easier for the interaction to occur, opposed to it being the messages of trying to call in, because it's just the way that it goes. If I'm in the mid of something else, I'm probably not going to pay attention to it. Some people get pissed off about that. So sorry, especially some people in Canada. So there you go. So with that being said, I think it's time for us to start sourcing some news. With that being the case, let me explain to you how it goes. We talk about safety in the news and safety. We bring in some professional broadcasters that will talk about what the hell is going on inside of this lovely world of ours. Then I will actually come back and talk a little bit more about what the hell is going on from my point of view. And then we kind of go from there and then call it a day and call it a Freeform Friday and know what the hell is going to happen next. I think it sounds all convoluted. Yeah, I think that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get you started in right now with some news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. President Biden is announcing financial aid for Palestinian hospitals.
Today, I'm pleased to announce the United States is committing an additional $100 million to support these hospitals, your staffs, and that work for the Palestinian people.
Speaking at a hospital in East Jerusalem today, Biden thanked healthcare workers and said they provide hope to the Palestinian people. He said the aid package would be a multi-year commitment of resources and expertise. Biden also said the United Arab Emirates has pledged $25 million in hospital aid and hopes that more Gulf states will follow. The Trump administration cut $25 million in aid from Palestinian hospitals in 2018. New York City's medical examiner is working to determine the cause of death of Ivana Trump. The ex-wife of former President Donald Trump was found dead in her New York City apartment yesterday afternoon. It's being reported that Ivana was found unresponsive at the bottom of the stairs for her Upper East Side apartment, and police are investigating whether a fall contributed to her death. Her son, Eric Trump, was asked about her passing and had this to say.
It's been a very sad day, guys. Very sad day.
The former president announced her death on his social media platform Truth Social. Trump said her pride and joy were her three children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric. She married Trump in 1977 and divorced in 1992. Trump said she was a wonderful, beautiful, and amazing woman who led a great and inspirational life. Former President Trump says he's made up his mind about a presidential run in 2024. In an interview with New York Magazine, Trump said, "Well, in my own mind, I've already made that decision, so nothing factors in anymore." He went on to say that his big decision will be whether he announces before or after November's midterm elections. Before the opening bell, stock futures are on the rise. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Senate Republicans have blocked a bill that would have protected women who cross state lines to receive legal abortions. Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar spoke in support of the bill, saying the right to travel to other states for health care must be protected.
But with so many extreme Republicans racing to state capitals to be the first to take away women's rights, it's clear we must explicitly protect the right to travel to other states to access reproductive care.
The bill was rooted in the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause that allows people the freedom to travel between states while having protection under the law. It would also have allowed prosecutors to take civil action against those seeking to restrict a woman's right to cross state lines to receive reproductive care. Democrats needed at least 10 Republicans to support the bill, but none did. The autopsy results for Jayland Walker will be released this morning. Lisa Taylor reports.
The Summit County Medical Examiner's Office in Ohio says it will hold a closed media event at 9:30 to release the results. The 25-year-old was shot and killed by police during an attempted traffic stop last month. Police say Walker was killed after he fired a gun from his car and took off on foot. I'm Lisa Taylor.
The Inspector General for the Department of Homeland Security says that the Secret Service deleted text messages both the day before and the day of the January 6th Capitol riot. Brian Shook reports.
DHS Inspector General Joseph Kafari said in a letter given to the House Select Committee investigating the riot that text messages were deleted as part of a device replacement program. He said that the Secret Service erased the texts after they were requested by oversight officials looking into how the agency responded to the riot. I'm Brian Shook.
North Carolina police say a Texas family visited a Waffle House, ate, then robbed the diner. Officials say a man and two women who were part of a family of 6 were arrested Wednesday near Durham. Police say the 3 are accused of pulling off a similar robbery near Shreveport, Louisiana. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. BIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. BIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with BIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take BIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE. The WorkWise Summit is an interactive 2-day gathering that will bring like-hearted leaders together like never before as we discuss ways to better align HR, safety, and operations around one common goal: creating the future of work together. Day one will focus on self-performance with talks with leading experts on how to live and lead at our best. Day two will focus on organizational performance with discussions on what we can do together to break down silos and foster action. The Work Summit will take place at Coker Tire Museum in Chattanooga, Tennessee on Thursday, September the 22nd and Friday, September the 23rd. For more information, go to workzbe.com/Y Summits. That's WORKZBE.com, Y Summit. Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Friday. Yes, that's what it is. Friday it is, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about inflation. The Consumer Price Index, CPI, plays an important part in calculating inflation rates. It's supposed to be a reflection of the price of a basket of theoretical goods and the everyday Americans buy on a regular basis to maintain a certain standard of living. But because the government and its bookkeeping are getting a little bit more and more interesting, they found a way to screw that up even. Starting in 1980, the government tried to account for a multitude of variables that affect the prices of everyday products. And ever since then, it's gotten too complicated for their own goods. For example, back in 2018, the Pro model each year has an iPhone that costs about $999, but each year improvements of the iPhone computing power using complicated CPI formula, the government would say that the iPhone actually costs less than it did in 2018 because of technology robust devices, even though the buyers are still paying $999. The approach makes it even a little bit more difficult compared to changes of out-of-pocket living expenses for everyday people, which would be the point of understanding the changes of inflation. Ultimately, the government is going to tweak the numbers to tell the story that they want to tell. As reported yesterday, the official numbers are ugly. The annual inflation nearing 10% in June. President Joe Biden said that the actual is actually not bad because the major driving factor of increase was fuel prices, which have been falling in recent weeks after the recent historic highs in a shockingly short amount of time. But to go back to the simple CPI measurement, it actually calculates changes out-of-pocket expenses of everyday Americans. Inflation is around 17%, nearly double of the official version that the government is giving you currently. This means that that if you didn't get a 17% raise last year, you have that much less buying power year over year. So here's another way to imagine going back a year ago and suddenly taking near 20% pay cut, going from $25 an hour to $20 an hour overnight on your household income suddenly is going from $75,000 a year to $60,000 a year, and you're still expected to pay the rent, mortgage, buy groceries, pay for kids' activities, put gas in your car, and maybe even have some fun every once in a while. And if you didn't get at least a 17% pay raise, that's what happened over the course of last year. So the question would be, questions worth asking is, how did we get here? Who has been? Who held these policies for this to get to this fashion? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to think about when you start thinking about this. So essentially, did you get a 17% pay increase last year? If not, you're probably in some trouble. I mean, I know that I have some friends that were very excited about some of the pay raises that they got over the last year, not kind of factoring into what inflation has been and changed over the last factor. So if it wasn't at least minimum of 17%, should it be something to brag about?
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, German farmers are reportedly joined their Dutch counterparts to blockade trucks from entering the grocery distribution center in Telpau, a small town in the northeastern Netherlands on the border with Germany. The Dutch have been in revolt against crippling environment sanctions for the last, few weeks. No indication yet whether the Dutch government will budge to their emission standards that threaten to put the agricultural industry out of business. It'll be interesting to see what happens here over the next little bit. I mean, this seems to be going a burning thing that people are talking about. And I guess in talking about burning, let's talk about this. Firefighters in Yosemite have been unable to contain the spread of the Washburn fire. More than 1,000 firefighters have been assembled to put the wildfire, which was expanded despite their efforts from being 22% contained on Tuesday to 17% on Wednesday. It represents a growth of more than 200 acres since earlier this week. Park officials believe that the fire was caused by human, but have no leads or suspects. Well, shit, if you lived in Iron Lake, in regards of inside of their little areas, they actually have thermal heated cameras to see what the hell's going on. And if you're not familiar with Iron Lake, it's perfectly fine because it's definitely a fictional place. Anyways, to continue talking, a portrait of Vincent van Gogh, called Head of the Peasant Woman, is set to go on display at the National Galleries in Scotland this summer. In preparing for the piece for display, art curators discovered that the X-ray technology that a self-portrait of Van Gogh is on the back of the canvas. Van Gogh was known for reusing canvases. In this case, his painting of himself is covered under a cardboard and glue into the reverse side of an actual final painting. Researchers say that they think that they can carefully remove the layers, but it will be a slow, painstaking process. So here's my question. Are you willing to take that risk if you damage this all-important piece of art? Just a question here, because that's the stuff to think about. Like, what do you think? It's definitely a mind-numbing scenario as it is going forward. Anyways, a Louisville woman who won the local lottery immediately used her winnings to pay forward for her good fortune. Crystal Dunn pocketed more than $109,000 after taxes and immediately bought $2,000 worth of gift cards at the grocery store, which then she started handing out to strangers who were shopping there. She says that she's looking forward to paying off bills and buying herself a car, too. Look at that. I love it. I love it. What a great idea in regards of doing that right away, showing how to truly pay it forward. Anyways, with that being said, I think it's time to talk about the market beat, so let's do that.
Here's your market beat minute for Friday, July 15th, 2022. Some like it hot, but the markets do not. That's the sentiment of investors after the June PPI number came in at 11.1%. Leading the charge was a 10% increase in energy costs. And that wasn't the only piece of bad news that investors received. Unemployment claims were at the highest level in 8 months. The issue of the moment is what investors believe about inflation. There is some evidence that core CPI is going down. That could mean producer prices are beginning to ease. On the other hand, consumers are still feeling inflation every time they fill up their cars or shop for groceries. That sent the market down for the 4th straight day, and that will be the longest losing streak in a month for U.S. stocks. Gold and oil were also down. Now that the S&P 500 is below 3,800, investors will eye the 3,600 level. And it's fair to ask if that's where the bulls make a stand. If they do, it will despite a lift from the big banks. Earnings from JP Morgan Chase and Morgan Stanley both disappointed. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. Could you tell that Johnny Smalls was in an empty room? Because he's moving, just so you know. He bought a new house this week. So there you go. With that being said, let's talk a little bit about some things that are going on. The Dow lost about 142 points to close at 30,630 points on Thursday. The S&P 500 lost 11.4 points to close at 3,790, and the Nasdaq picked up 3.6 points to close at 11,251. Year to date, the S&P is down about 20 points or 20%, excuse me. The second worst start to the index in its history, behind 1932. Brent crude is just below $100 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate continues to decline below $100 a barrel. So there you go. The national price of gas per gallon is $4.60 as of Thursday. Bitcoin closes around, $410, closed around 410 on Thursday after a morning decline of trading. So added $410, probably what I should say. It didn't close. It closed at 20,635. There was 3,077 flight delays for routes within, into, or out of the United States, and 181 such cancellations on Wednesday. So just in case if you were looking for some stuff, that's what we got. Anyways, let's continue talking. It is Friday, so you know that we're just going to do the razzle-dazzle and talk a little bit about everything that is going on. So if you don't have a lot of plans for your weekends, let's talk about some of the things that you could potentially do. New to Amazon Prime, if you want to watch some of the video on demand services, Don't Make Me Gal. New to Disney Plus is Zombies 3. New to HBO Max will be Godzilla. New to Hulu will be The Centurion, 5th. I'm Still Here, Ragnarok, and Viva. And if you're looking at Netflix, well, here you go. Persuasion and Uncharted. Is that like Uncharted, the movie that just recently came out? I don't know. And now I'm wondering if that's the case. So there you go. Some information there if you're looking at some things to do over the weekendo. So there you go. What else? What else do we have? Let's take a look at some other things because that's what we can always do in regards of what we are talking about and doing around here. Where do we want to go? Let's go to Melrose, California. Los Angeles police officers shot at two robbery suspects who tried to rob a customer at a store in Melrose Avenue. This man says that he had been less violent crime in Fairfax District until
Police have been doing a great job up here. I mean, the merchants and the neighbors have been impressed with how things have improved lately. So tonight is definitely a setback.
Okay, the LAPD says that at least one suspect was shot, but both managed to escape in an SUV. Investigators say that one suspect shot at officers first. One official officer was grazed by a bullet and then taken to the hospital and is in a stable condition. It is believed that the suspect roughed up a customer inside of the store and tried to rob the person of a designer watch at about 7 o'clock Thursday night. The robbery target was not seriously hurt. What exactly do you consider a designer watch? Because doesn't a designer have them almost make every watch? I mean, I'm just asking the question here, not trying to be a jerk in regards to talking about it, but hey, just some things for the sake of doing so. Anyways, let's take a listen real quick. SpaceX launches supplies after a month-long delay. SpaceX is celebrating a supply launch to the International Space Center. Trey Thomas has more info.
Engine ignition and liftoff.
A Falcon 9 rocket loaded with more than 5,800 pounds of cargo had a successful liftoff Thursday from Florida. The launch was delayed a little over a month after a technical error. Weather conditions were favorable for the launch, and there was no delay from rain. The capsule is scheduled to arrive at the ISS this Saturday. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey, for that one, letting us know what exactly was going on there. Let's continue talking real quick. Just some information. A magnitude 4.6 earthquake rattled California, Kent County on Thursday evening. Trey Thomas has more info.
According to the U.S. Geological Survey, it hit the community of Ridgecrest at about 6:20 p.m. local time. The quake's epicenter was just under 8 miles northeast of the community, the same area that was the center of a magnitude 7.1 quake back in July 2019. No further details have been released. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey, for that one. Let's talk a little bit more. Scrubs co-executive producer arrested on multiple sexual assault charges, better saying. A producer and writer for the nominated for 5 Emmy Awards is now in jail after a sexual assault charges dating back 10 years. Some more Trey Thomas.
The Los Angeles Police Department announced on Thursday that Scrubs co-executive producer Eric Weinberg is being held on $3.2 million bond. The LAPD says Weinberg is accused of preying on women in their 20s and 30s in grocery stores, coffee shops, and other public places, and luring them for an alleged photo shoot at his home where he would sexually assault them. I'm Trey Thomas.
Sometimes I just truly have to wonder what the heck is going on inside of this world when we hear some of these things. Anyways, let's continue talking. DC officials are celebrating the opening of the city's first LGBTQ plus adult shelter. Japper Bowles, the director of the DC LGBTQ affairs, it says that it will be a safe haven, can't even talk, for members of the community.
From case management to psychosocial supports to life skills training to substance use disorder services and linkage to community resources.
Okay, located along the 50th Street, and the facility of 40 beds will help reduce homelessness. Mayor Bowser said that they will give folks the opportunity to eventually assess permanent housing, and residents will begin to be accepted as early as next month. So there you go. Some resources available to take a look at if you're so inclined to do so. What else do we have going on? There's so much stuff. Do we want to talk about this World War II plane being restored at Air Zoo? Yes, the Air Zoo in Portage is working to restore a U.S. Navy FM-2 Wildcat that crashed in December of 1944 in Lake Michigan when it was trying to take off. The Air Zoo volunteer Phil Lavoie says that the tail of the plane was caught into the paddle wheel and that the aircraft carrier was sheared off, which was left onto the plane being discovered and brought into the portage for work back in 2012.
From the cockpit back was all gone. The tail section survived. We repaired that, but everything in between those two areas was totally reconstructed.
Okay, now we'll soon be headed to the National Medal of Honor Museum in Arlington, Texas, as the Wildcat that were flown at 8 men who received the award. That is the most for any single-engine fixed-wing plane. Air Zoo President CEO Troy Trash is excited about the U.S. Navy FM Wildcat being restored, and we'll head to the National Medal of Honor Museum.
Everybody's going to know that it was restored here in Kalamazoo at the Air Zoo by the entire Southwest Michigan community.
So there you go. Some very interesting stuff. Some interesting times in regards of the things that are happening. It is currently 32 minutes past the top of the hour. With everything going on, I think it's time to talk a little bit more about some news.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. US President Joe Biden's meeting Palestinian leaders on Friday before controversial talks in Saudi Arabia. Biden will meet Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and his father King Salman in Saudi. It comes after talks in Israel. Nina Maria Potts reports from Tel Aviv.
An awkward trip to the Middle East for a raft of reasons as US President Biden visits Saudi Arabia next. His administration vowed to make the kingdom a pariah state 2 years ago over the 2018 murder of journalist and writer Jamal Khashoggi by Saudi agents. When asked whether he would bring up the issue, the US president said he always brings up human rights, and his views on the Khashoggi case have been made absolutely clear, but he stopped short of committing to raising it. On the agenda in Saudi Arabia, energy supply and security cooperation amid a spike in global oil prices caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And he's meeting several other representatives from the Gulf and Middle East, including Egypt, Iraq and Jordan.
China's economy contracted sharply in Q2 compared with the previous 3 months. GDP fell 2.6% with several cities under full or partial COVID lockdown. UK health services are braced for a surge in demand as temperatures rise towards possible records. The Met Office has issued an amber extreme heat warning for much of England and Wales from Sunday until Tuesday. Temperatures could top 37 degrees on Monday and Tuesday. Some train companies have warned services will be affected as a result. Cabinet Minister Kit Malthouse chaired an emergency government meeting on concerns about the looming heatwave.
It's critical that when that happens, we all recognise that we need to take action on an individual basis to help ourselves. So all the usual stuff you would expect, drink lots of water, trying to stay cool, but also focus on a couple of vulnerable groups. So very small babies, people need to take care to keep them cool, and in particular the elderly who may be vulnerable. And we're asking people to be neighbourly. Look out for older people who may be living on their own, worth a knock on the door a couple of times a day, just to make sure they're okay.
The remaining 5 candidates in the race to be Conservative leader and UK Prime Minister are preparing for a weekend of debating and campaigning. There's pressure on the bottom 2 of the 5 in Thursday's vote of MPs, Kemi Badenoch and Tom Tugendhat, to drop out of the race and back another candidate. Former Finance Minister Rishi Sunak is ahead when it comes to support from MPs so far, followed by Penny Mordaunt and Liz Truss. Kemi Badenoch admitted she was disappointed not to receive the support of Suella Braverman after she was knocked out on Thursday.
Suella and I are friends with Tom Tugendhat as well. Rishi and Liz were my senior ministers, so it's all very close to home. We're all friends. We're part of the Conservative family. So every time someone supports one person, there's another person that's been let down.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. We're going to round the week off with an eyewitness account of the protests that have been building in Sri Lanka for the last 3 months, but finally this week swept the government and the corruption of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa from power. If you've seen the images from Colombo, you'll know this was an exercise in raw people power, a population rising up to say enough. Dr. Farah Mailar is a lecturer in conflict studies at Exeter University, a British Sri Lankan academic and human rights activist.
The protests have been incredibly inspirational. I was there a month ago. I was part of it, as have been so many of my friends. This is not a protest where, you have unruly mobs attacking places. This has been a protest where people have been absolutely fed up with a government that has driven the country down and driven the country dry of foreign currency, caused an economic crisis, put people on the verge of starvation. Now, of course, as with every political movement, you have elements that might be, you could call them extreme, you could call them perhaps bordering violence, but largely the protest movement has been amazing. It has been peaceful and they have been successful.
But now the hard work starts, restoring some semblance of confidence in government and rebuilding a Sri Lankan economy that is on its knees. It is far from clear that the caretaker Prime Minister, now also acting president, has the confidence of the people either.
To recap the top stories, US President Joe Biden's meeting Palestinian leaders on Friday before controversial talks in Saudi Arabia. China's economy contracted sharply in Q2 compared with the previous 3 months. UK health services are braced for a surge in demand as temperatures rise towards possible records. And the remaining 5 candidates in the race to be Conservative leader and UK Prime Minister are preparing for a weekend of debating and campaigning. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
It's a new year, but it's feeling harder than ever to find and hire qualified people you need, especially for small businesses. That's where LinkedIn Job comes in. They make it easier to find people you want to talk to faster and for free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of the most qualified people. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering qualified hires versus leading competitors. I have to tell you that we have used LinkedIn Jobs to even find some of the people that we have here at Safety FM. LinkedIn Jobs can help you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your jobs for free on linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to tell them that you heard it right here on Safety FM. It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with Home Title Lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com. Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you. There you go, 43 minutes past the top of the hour. This is the OMF Kids covering Glenn Danzig's Let It Be Captured. So this one is a find on you have to find it online. It's really what it boils down to. So you get the best of both worlds here. I think it's a good cover if you've heard the original. So I would recommend strongly going to take a little listen if you have the opportunity to do so. So there you go. Currently 44 minutes past the top of the hour as we take a listen to some music there and talk some more about some things that are going on inside of this world. So anyways, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will tell you at any point in my lifetime. And that's about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. That will be kind of the simple process in regards of how to do that. Or you can go to afsp.org. So there you go. Before you make your next move, if you're having struggles with either, make sure to contact my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So let's get into some stuff, talk a little bit more about some things that are going on inside of this world real quick. So with it being Friday, we talk a little bit about everything. If you are still looking for some things to do and you don't want to do the video on demand services, you do have the opportunity to go out today and take a look-see at what the hell's going on at the movie theater. So let's talk about this. Where the Crawdad Sings opens today. It's a mystery and a thriller rated PG-13. Paws of Fury. Yes, The Legend of the Hawk. PG animated movie that'll be readily available to take a look-see at. And then Mr. Harris Goes to Paris, a PG comedy drama, if you want to go take a look at that. So those are 3 new movies that are coming out today. So let's talk about some cheap talk. Yeah, doing some shopping over the weekend. Actually, you probably find yourself doing some of that shopping every weekend if your family wants to eat. And these days, well, whether you find yourself at the grocery store or at the mall, you're probably trying to stretch the dollar as far as possible. It's no surprise that at least 54% of us say being called cheap is a compliment, according to a new survey. In fact, in a poll of 2,000 Americans, the average respondent said that they travel about an hour to a store if they knew that the items they want were on sale there. The one poll survey also found that in order for it to be a good deal, a quarter of respondents would need it to be at least 50% off, but most people say that they're happy with a deal that would be at the amount of 76% off. 1 in 4 say that they're less likely to purchase items that if it's full price, which is 75%, that they said they'd wait up to a month for an item to go on sale before purchasing it at full price. And 7 in 10 said that they're so conscious shoppers that they would wait for, or that they can wait for any kind of deal or anything. So there you go. So I would like to invite these people to please accompany me on my next trip to the gas station. On the other hand, being called a cheap date is not really a compliment, but hey, whatever the heck it takes, I guess, is really the way to look at stuff. So there you go. So let's talk about some news of the weird real quick. San Francisco couple says that they were stunned to receive a ticket for parking in a spot that they've been using for 36 years, the driveway in front of their home. They received a ticket for $1,542 along with a warning that they said they would fine another $250 per day if they kept parking there. When Ed and Judy Crane contacted the officials, they were told that the longstanding section of city code banned people from parking vehicles on uncovered car pads in front of their homes. If they were told that the city might make an exception if they could prove that the spot had historically been used for parking, but a photo that was supplied for 34 years ago was considered too recent for now that they're parking on the street, which can be a challenge in their neighborhood. The city agreed to waive the fine if they stopped parking on the car pad, although that I understand a $250 a day in San Francisco is a hell of a deal. What? 34 years ago is too recent of a photo? I mean, did they think that it said 34 days? I mean, then again, I probably have T-shirts that are 34 years old at this point in my life. Anyways, let's continue talking. A tourist was injured after falling into a crater of Illity of Mount Versus. I mean, we talked about this as he tried to take a selfie. A 23-year-old Philip Carroll. Oh, great. Now they released a name, and his family have reached to the summit of the volcano, which provides the top of the 4,200 feet volcano, and then he dropped his phone. He climbed into the crater to try to get it back and lost his balance and fell about 15 meters. Guides had to rappel into the crater to get him to safety. The police responded, and rescue helicopter was also scrambled to get there. He was treated for cuts and bruises and now faces charges of invasion of public land. So, Mount Versus, which erupted back in AD 79, devastated to the nearby town, is a popular spot for hiking and falling, apparently. So, what a ash hole. You get it? Ash hole. I mean, why would you have such a big ash hole right there? I said ash, just in case. I don't want there to be any confusion on what I'm saying.
Oops! Whoops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Frank. John McLeod said, "I believe that nothing in life is unimportant. Every moment can be a beginning." I've never heard this quote before, but I love it. Think about this. Millions of people encounter problems every single day, but some of these people find a solution to that problem, and it changes their life, and it changes the lives of millions of other people around them. Sometimes that little problem can be a huge opportunity for you to find a solution to help people. It may help you too. They say necessity is the mother of invention. I would say that inspiration may be the father of invention. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. If you want to be conformed to the image of Christ, you'll have to follow him. When he called the 12, he said, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." His first statement was a command, and his second statement was a promise. He commands us to take up our cross and follow him. If we do, he promised to make us into the persons he has called us to be. So what does it mean to follow Jesus? That means you surrender your rights. You go where he goes. You do what he does. Galatians 5:16 said, "Live by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the sinful nature." Lord Jesus, make me the man you've called me to be. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. Despite how much weight loss advice is out there is always more to it. Here's one extremely important tip to consider if you are on your weight management journey. And this is something that does not get addressed enough. It is to prioritize mental and emotional health and stress management. As long as stress is not being managed, you will be working against weight loss, sabotaging hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, and insulin. You cannot outsmart these hormones, nor does your body care about your weight loss efforts when it's stuck in survival mode. Bottom line, stress hormones tell your body to store the majority of what you eat, even if you're only eating 1,000 calories a day. If you're stressed, your body will store most of these calories. For more information on wellness, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 53 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. So let's start taking a look-see about some things that happened back on this date. So taking a look around. Let's see, what year do we want to go to? Let's go into 2016 because it's been a big thing on the news as of late. Stranger Things debuts on Netflix, a hit series created by the Duffer Brothers, stars Winona Ryder, David Harbour, to name a few. The show quickly rises to the top of the streaming most watched list. And I guess that's still kind of where it hangs out today. So anyways, let's talk about some birthdays that are going on. Trevor Stein turns 26. Mason Dye turns 28. Frankie A. Rodriguez turns 30. Damian Lillard, 32. Alexander Culvert, 32. Ali Alexander, 32. Amy Carrero turns 34. Taylor Kinney turns 41. Ray Toro, 45. Lana Parrilla, 45. Jim Jones, 46. Gabriel Iglesias, 46. Diana Kruger, 46. Marty Wright turns 48. Brian Austin Green turns 49. Scott Foley turns 50. Adam Savage turns 55. And Forrest Whitaker turns 61 today. So there you go. Those are some birthdays that are going on. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, I have some of those for you as well. It's National Give Something Away Day. Hey now. National Love Horses Day. National Topeka Pudding Day. Let's see. National Pet Fire Safety Day. Gummy Worm Day. Oh, that sounds like a good one, an encouragement to go out to do. And Pet Fire Safety Day. So there you go. So there's National Pet Fire Safety Day and then Pet Fire Safety Day. So is there a national and a non-national? How about, can we get a world version inside of there as well? I mean, I'm just saying. So anyways, with that being said, I will be going over to radiobig.fm here in the next few minutes to hang out, do some music stuff if you want to come out and hang out. And hopefully maintain my voice during that time frame, as well as doing that. So there you go. So let me give you some whack facts real quick. Jumbo jets use more than 4,000 gallons of fuel to take off. Caterpillars have about 4,000 muscles. Humans have about 600. Hair and nails grow faster during pregnancy. Apples ripen after being picked. Oranges don't. An iceberg contains more heat than a match. Queen Elizabeth II was Time Magazine's Man of the Year back in 1952. Think about that for a second. So here you go. If you need a random joke for today, the guy who invented the wheel was an idiot. The guy who invented the other three, he was a genius. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What movie never gets old no matter how many times you've seen it? If you need something for the water cooler, try this. Question. The average weekday, you'll use 4 of these. On Saturday and Sundays, it's closer to 6. What are they? Mugs and cups. So there you go. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have for you for today. I hope you enjoyed your Friday, Freeform Friday, as best as we could. Make sure to keep it locked here on radiobig.fm or Safety FM, depending on where you're taking a listen to us at. Just to make sure that we've got everything going on. We can't do what we do around here without you, the most important part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. If I can't leave you with a deep thought for this weekend, I would love to leave you with this one. Be happy with what you have, but excited about what you want. Boy, is that a different reference way to take a look at it. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.